Hi everyone, I'm Heather from Sunshine and Family Time, and today I'm going to talk to you about our little trip to Jungle Gems in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I know you might think I'm a little bit crazy getting excited about a giant grocery store, but you'll understand when I get into more details. So don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more upcoming videos. And now let's hop right into the details.
Jungle Gems in Ohio. We're very excited. This is a giant grocery store. Let's go inside and see what they have.
Inside the entryway has a couple different smaller stores inside of it. One of the first stores you come to is a little cupcake and coffee shop named Abby Girl Sweets, and it has really good cupcakes and coffee. And then if you keep going, it has a sushi shop on the left, and on the right they have a store called the Flying Olive, and it has all different types of different olive oils that you can purchase, and you can even taste test them before you buy. I'm going to talk about the restrooms. I know, talking about bathrooms is kind of weird also, but on the outside facade of these restrooms, it looks like a porta potty. And if you're anything like me, you kind of stay away from porta potties because they're kind of gross. Always gross, stinky. But these look like porta potties from the outside. If you open the door, they're actually giant, super clean, nice restrooms. So it's just really kind of funny when you look at it. You're like, ugh, but you go in and they're really nice and amazing. Right beside of the restrooms, they have a sign that has some of the best bathrooms that are rated. So we found that kind of interesting going through, because you don't want to go to a nasty bathroom. Sometimes you just walk in and turn around and go back out. So this sign has some of the top rated restrooms, and it was just neat to point out some of the areas that we have heard about or that we have been to. Jungle Gems grocery store has a theater inside. Inside this theater, it has the story of how Jungle Gems International Market got started. It has theater seating and everything. We have actually sat in there before and watched the whole show. It's not extremely long, but we've sat in there and heard the whole story of how this man named James, he had a fruit stand in a parking lot is where he actually started. And then it just kept growing and growing and getting bigger and bigger until it became this giant Jungle Gems International Market, which is so fun to walk through. Inside the grocery store, you'll see aisle after aisle after aisle of food from different countries all over the world. 70 different countries are represented. And so I'm just going to skim through and show a few of the different countries. They have some really interesting items for you to look at. And when I say items, these are really large items. Like they could have a van, they could have a bus, they could have a boat, a jet ski, a cart with people pulling them. They could have a wooden sculpture carved out. They have a NASCAR, a NASCAR leaning up against the wall. They have so many different items in this grocery store. It's really interesting and fun to walk through. And the kids enjoyed it too. So it was really a fun thing to do with your whole family. And then plus you get food. So there you go. They also have some other interesting items at the grocery store as well. Maybe some food items that you don't normally see in the grocery store where you live. We were walking around still looking at the different food items that they have, and I looked over into a cooler and I thought it was a big ball of mozzarella cheese, like fresh mozzarella cheese wrapped up. So I got a little bit closer. I was wrong. It was not a ball of mozzarella cheese. It was, in fact, a giant ostrich egg. And so I thought that was really cool. I haven't seen one at a grocery store. Just there it was. And in case if you're wondering how much an ostrich egg is, it's $89.99. They also had quail eggs that you could buy, or duck eggs. They had dried squid. They had what it looked like sardines also in a bag. But they just had some interesting items. One of our favorite sections at the Jungle Gyms International Market is the hot sauce section. Now, granted, we didn't buy anything at the hot sauce section, but it's one of our favorites to walk around just because it's very interesting. When you go over to that section, you can't miss it. It says hot sauce on the wall, and plus it has a giant fire truck. It's painted gray, but they have a giant fire truck on top of the aisles there, so you know that is the hot sauce section for the fire truck waiting to hose you down because it's way too hot. They have so many different items there at the hot sauce section. Coming from salsa, they have hot sauce. They had hot flavored items as well. They had hot pickles. They had hot popcorn. They had, they had hot sunflower seeds, hot jelly beans. They had hot fudge. They had hot peanuts. Hot cocoa, hot flavored cocoa, so many different items. They even had one of those like Bean Boozled jelly bean games. So instead of like nasty flavors that you would get, it would all be hot. So they'd be like sriracha, habanero, and different super hot peppers that you might get when you play that game.
Back here they have all kinds of different hot sauces. So all that you can imagine, different levels of hotness, all through there. And they're labeled in alphabetical order, A through Z. So that's pretty amazing. All different types of fiery foods. They have pickles, peanuts, popcorn, jelly beans, anything you can think about. They have it in different levels of hotness.
Jungle Gyms International Market also has 3 interactive elements. And these are elements where you can go up to these giant displays and push a button and something will happen. Like it'll move or it will play music for you. The first one that we came to was where we would normally push a button and it would light up and start to play music. And all behind of it, it's a great big sign along the ceiling and it says King of Pop. This one was unfortunately out of order the day that we went. The second interactive element that they have at this grocery store goes along with the Kellogg's cereals. And this one you can go up to, my kids love this one, they go up to the push button and it has a rocking horse that starts rocking back and forth. And then behind it, you see Tony the Tiger. On to the right, you see Geppetto and Pinocchio. To the left, you have the Raisin Bran Son. And it's just so giant and big, and it talks, it has music. The kids love that. The third interactive element that they have at Jungle Gyms International Market is the Roadrunner display, which is near the jerky. And so they have the Roadrunner and the Coyote. So the coyote is chasing the roadrunner. And for this interactive element, you push the button, and it's like the roadrunner is rocking back and forth like it's running away from the coyote. One of the other giant sections that they have is the seafood section. This is a really big section in itself. It has all the seafood that you can think of in this part here. They have a giant boat. They have jet skis. They have different fish, and it's really neat. They have so many different types of seafood here. I think I remember they had cod, parrotfish, they had salmon, they had lobster, shrimp, they had octopus, they had clams, they had lionfish, squid. So many different types of seafood there. They also had a section that before, when we've gone, it had live fish and also live lobsters that you could go and you could choose which one that you wanted. They were all empty the day that we went there, so I guess they're not doing that part anymore. They have other meats as well. They had a whole section of just steak and all the different cuts of meat for that. They had chicken. They had a whole section of hot dogs and pork. They had a giant section of pork with a pig with wings above that. They had a jerky section that had an alligator above the display. And yes, they even had alligator sirloin meat. They also had boar and duck, just to name a few. Another section that they had, it was completely honey. The whole section was honey. At the very top of the honey section, they have a piece of a ride. I'm not sure exactly where this ride came from, but it was a real ride, and it looks like a honeycomb and a bear. And all below, you have all different kinds of honey, some of it being made locally, some of it from Indiana and different places. I believe Tennessee. They had bee pollen. They had honey that was soaked in walnuts and pecans, and they had real honeycombs that looked so good. They had honey candy. They had honey straws that I think would brew pretty good in some tea. They had molasses there as well. So a big, wide selection of different types of honey. But of course, one of the best places of a grocery store is the bakery, because it has all these super yummy, delicious desserts. They have a lot of donuts to choose from. We saw cannolis. They had a local section. I believe it was called Ruby's Chocolates. They had a little table set up for those really super yummy looking desserts. And one of the desserts even looked like a shape of Ohio, which is where Jungle Gems is located. Jungle Gems is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. And they had so many different cakes and truffles and cheesecake. And of course, candy apples are my favorite. I love candy apples. They had us an adorable cake also that was exactly looking like a hamburger. So it was really cute to see all of the different food items that they had in the bakery. One thing that I found interesting, because I do know some people who are gluten sensitive, and they had 5 entire sections that are gluten-free items at Jungle Gems International Market. So I found that really interesting, because I know sometimes it can be very hard to find gluten-free items. They had tons of produce, and it looked so fresh and delicious. All different types of fruit, all different types of peppers. They had all the vegetables, so many things. It just looked so amazing and so delicious. They also had a beer and wine section with a giant Miller Lite NASCAR leaning up against the wall. We just briefly walked through this area. And back behind there, they also had a cigar section. They had wine section all through there. Next, they came to a cheese section. So many delicious different cheeses over there. And the cheese section was actually Tom and Jerry themed. So you could see Tom and Jerry in a cheese car above the cheese section that they had. Now, I'm going to counteract myself because I believe earlier I said that the bakery was the best section. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to say the best section in the whole store was the Candy Castle. And it was all Candyland themed. It was super cute. Above it, you could see the Candyland theme all painted along the wall. And then they also had Simon, Alvin, and Theodore in little cars like they were moving around the Candyland board game. And everything looks so delicious. We, of course, did have to bring home a little bit of candy. They had an entire section also that was just Peppa Pig candy. So I thought that was interesting because Peppa Pig Land is opening really soon in Florida over by Legoland. They also had an entire section that just had the natural foods and supplements. It was right behind this giant statue of a gold man holding some weights. They had all different types of vitamins. They had a whole bunch of keto things there as well. So lots of different healthy items in that section over there. They did have a toy section, but unfortunately this time we did not have time to go inside the toy section, but we have gone in there before and they did have some like stuffed animals and games for children to play. We had a really great time walking around Jungle Jim's International Market in Cincinnati, Ohio with our family, looking at all the different countries and the food items that they could have there and all of the cute little displays that they had. Not little, giant displays that they had above the food aisles. It's just a really neat place to go into, and it's so big, has so many different food items. We had a great time with our family. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And now, it's your family time. Bye.